LSU travels to Clemson August the 30th. I'm going to be careful on how I say this. I'm giving this. I know your voice is out, but I'm going to give this one over to you. I've talked a lot about this game, but I want to get your perspective. When you look at LSU and Clemson week one, LSU going into Death Valley themselves for Clemson, even though Brian Kelly calls it Death Valley Jr. Your thoughts on how this game is going to play out?
Clemson is favored by 3.5 points on FanDuel for anyone looking to bet. LSU fans, you're welcome. Every time that I have picked against you guys and I have picked your opponent to win, you guys have managed to pull out victories. Every time that I've picked in favor of you, I have been comically wrong. It's actually there's been a lot of instances where I've done that. You've gotten blown out. The reason why I like Clemson in this situation, though, and regardless of my weird LSU jinx, I do think in a matchup between two teams, as a lot of these big games that we've talked about, they're very evenly matched. They both have different weaknesses and strengths that will show up in different areas. I think the home environment one is going to help Clemson in this situation, not significantly, but just a little bit. But the biggest part for me, Blake, is having a completely reset offensive line on LSU's side. Going up against this insanely deep defensive line unit for Clemson is where I think this game could shift. I don't think it ends up being lopsided at any point, but I think that it comes down to like a fourth quarter drive where a big sack comes through or a big stuff on 3rd and medium, 3rd and 3, something along those lines, because Peter Woods or DeMonte Capehart breaks through, or we see Will Helt get a sack, or we see TJ Parker get a sack. There is such a difference in the depth and the talent on this defensive line compared to a completely reset LSU offensive line. And then the other part, when you've got two talented quarterbacks, and Garrett Nussmeier, as you and I have talked about this off air, has been miles better than he was last year.
Massive leap. By the way, quickly on that,
yes.
I had somebody today on our message board go back and pull every single practice report from last year and post it.
Wow. Did
you know at this time last year, Garrett had 13 interceptions in camp? I've been there every day. You know how many he's got?
He's got 1. That's in that is important for this conversation, that I think Garrett Nussmeier will play better. I think that it's kind of naive and too simple to assume that he's just going to step up and play like shit. But I think that when we have this slight separation point of Cade Klubnik stepping up and having some big moments last year, especially against Texas and SEC team, and Garrett Nussmeier having a lot of inconsistencies, I am leaning slightly towards Cade Klubnik. But either team can win this football game. I think that those are my main focal points why I think Clemson is going to get the dub.
Joe, I got to be real with you. As I'm preparing for this game and doing my breakdowns for Thursday, I went back and watched the all-22 copy of Clemson versus South Carolina. And I got to be real with you. I'm blown away by some of the things that Cade Klubnik did in open space against arguably the best safety in the draft last year in Emenwari. Now, if you don't remember, it didn't Emenwari run like a 4.4, 4.3. He had
4.3. He had the greatest testing performance out of any prospect ever at the combine.
Ever. He ran away from him. Go back and watch it. He ran away from him. It's a 50-yard draw play from the 50-yard line. He hits the sidelines. He's gone. He ran away from him. LSU had a problem last year with stopping quarterbacks that can run. I don't think that is a strength for Clemson, nor do I know if they are going to open it up with that. The thing that worries me the most is that late in games that Klubnik can take off, and LSU hasn't righted that wrong. Both teams last year were horrible defensively against the run. Last year, Clemson was 85th, and LSU was in the mid-70s. Both of you were horrendous at stopping the run at any given moment. Which D-line steps up? Now, right now, everybody is assuming that TJ Parker, Will Helt, and Peter Woods and Sammy Brown and Woodaz and that front seven is going to be able to win against LSU's offensive line, and I'm not here to disagree with them. But, Joe, I do think LSU's vastly improved along their defensive line, which they weren't bad a season ago. They had some issues. They weren't bad. The question that I ask here will be this. Has LSU fixed some of their wrongs defensively? And can they tackle in space? Because I do think Blake Baker overperformed a year ago. I think he overperformed based off the talent he had at safety and at corner and in his front seven, which, by the way, Patrick Payton got beat out. Just hot news flash. He's going to come in on third downs and do something, but a top 40 prospect in Gabe Rutherford said, no. And, Joe, I got to be real with you. If you ask me today who the best player on LSU's team's been since the spring, it's the edge rusher Gabe Rutherford, and it's not close. The question remains for me is this. LSU's biggest weakness was Clemson's biggest weakness. LSU could not run the ball a year ago. They were 108th in the country in rushing offense. Joe, Clemson, when they lost, whether it was Isaac Brown or whether it was the end of the year with Jaden Blue or Wisner, they couldn't stop the run. Tom Allen coming here, how quickly can he fix this with all the talent that he possesses in this front seven? If LSU can find a way to run the football, something they could not do a year ago, Garrett Nussmeier improvement or not, I think they can win. But if Tom Allen comes in here and rights some of these wrongs in their front seven, Joe, LSU is going to be throwing the ball around a lot like they were last year, and it's not going to go their way.
I think one piece with this and building off of that, a big swinging point for who wins this game and one way that LSU can capture this victory is who wins the battle between LSU's improved secondary and Clemson's talented wide receiver room.
Joe, they're good. Clemson's got dogs, bro.
You've got TJ Moore, Antonio Williams, Bryant Wesco. You've got two young dudes who have a lot of potential that were highly recruited, and Antonio Williams, who is going to potentially be a top 75, top 50 pick in the upcoming NFL draft. You have that unit going up against an improved secondary that, which I was talking to you, sounds like has gotten better a lot this offseason.
Yeah,
I've been a big Mansour DeLeone fan. I don't know if Tom Mansour DeLeone has faced Clemson's secondary. I don't remember if they squared off with Clemson when he was at Virginia Tech, but this dude can lock guys down because he's got the length, he's got the hips, he's got all the stuff that you look for. If LSU can get some stops, can disrupt the catch point, I don't think they're going to, forcing a turnover is always impactful in a game, but can you in tightly contested situations, can you get those breakups is going to be a big shifting point. That to me is where LSU, I think, could tap in. I honestly, to be completely frank with you, I don't even really care that much about bringing up LSU's defensive line. And it's for the fact that I think it's going to be great. I think that a lot of people assuming that it's going to be an issue for them this year, another situation where people are just being naive and they think it's going to suck. I've loved everything I've seen from Dominic McKinley and what you've told me about him. That whole group is going to be much improved. And they've recruited aggressively. It's just they've been young along their defensive line. Now is the chance for them to really, really step up. So I don't even put them into the mix of things. I'm more focused on the secondary because the secondary is where they've had so much damn inconsistency.
Yeah, well, especially at safety. Can Clemson really attack those safeties will be a question. Joe, does Clemson's run game and moving Adam Randall to running back, I know that they're high on Adam Randall, but does that worry you at all?
It does. And I'll be very frank with you, but here's the thing, though. The guys that they are having at running back this upcoming season that they have available fit the prototype of what they're used to using. So you're talking about Randall here. He's 6'2". He's 235 pounds. So it's not like that they're trying to do something that they haven't done before. You've got a big physical dude who's going to try and run people over that they just did with Phil Maffa. And then David Uzam, I'm going to mispronounce his name. He's also 6 foot 215. So they got some big dudes. They're going to try and run people over. They got to be able to run the ball. That's going to be critical.
Going to need to. I mean, listen, whether it was Pitt last year, Louisville, Georgia, or Texas, whoever it was, are you going into overtime versus SMU? What did all those things have in common? I mean, the God's honest truth was those teams came in there and beat you by running the football. Yeah. And I do think LSU will try to establish that early. But Joe, I got to give Nuss credit. He's drastically. Now listen, does he get back into a situation where the run game goes away from him and he starts getting back to old habits? That will be the question. But for Klubnik too, that will be a big question mark. I'm not picking this one yet.
Okay. I am taking Clemson minus 3.5 on FanDuel. That's my pick.
I don't. You expecting me coming out here telling you that you're wrong or that I'm going to get mad?
No, I know that you're happy. I know that you are happy that I'm doing this. Because again, LSU fans, you guys all know that every time I picked in favor of you guys, you've gotten smoked. I am the kiss of death.
Well, I did say last year if LSU lost another opener, I wasn't going to pick them to beat Clemson.
Okay.
LSU's got to go in there and prove it, brother. Right, wrong, or indifferent, you got to go in there and prove it.
Both teams need to. Both teams, this is a make or break moment for your seasons. LSU a little bit more because they've got a tough schedule, but if you want to win a championship this year, you got to win this game.
Well, LSU faces 7. It's more than anybody besides Oklahoma. They face 7 ranked preseason opponents. I mean, their schedule's tough. Yeah. I do think the pressure is a little bit more on Brian Kelly because Clemson clearly can lose this and still win the ACC. We saw them do it a year ago when they lost to Georgia.
Right. Right. There's a rebound point. There's a rebound point for them, but it's like the difference between winning the ACC and winning a national championship.
Yeah, very fair. I mean, listen, they are very talented. I think we look at them on paper saying at receiver they're going to get better. Joe, can Clemson's offensive line hold up? I mean, can they? I mean, I do think LSU is going to be better defensively up front. I don't know. I think you got some really evenly matched up stuff. We'll see. I mean, what do you expect from LSU with more speed at receiver? What do you expect from Tom Allen? The only thing I expect from Tom Allen at the current moment is he's going to send blitzes from the slot because he sent it against Notre Dame damn near every play. So I don't know. So we'll see. Right. All right. Anything else to add to this? Any super chats?
No super chats. Right. We'll be doing picks on Wednesday for week 0.
Oh, good Lord. Give me Kansas.
Actually to cover.
What's the spread?
You're not 3.5 right now. I put some money down on it this morning. It's been moving. It was at 2.5 originally. I think a lot of people are betting on Kansas State.